So more surprising news in the NFL. Pete Carroll is no longer the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. Though he is 72, he has a lot more gas left in the tank, and even a couple days ago he had a press conference. He said he wanted to keep coaching. He said he still had tons and tons of energy. But apparently today he had a meeting with ownership and quote unquote it was best for the team and Pete to part ways as him being a head coach. But it's not all terrible news for Seahawks fans. Pete is going to stay with the team as an advisor. What that entails exactly, I'm not quite sure. But I think if I were a Hawks fan, I'd rather that than him just going on to coach another team. Which, by the way, is a possibility if the right team offers him a contract. He said he'd be open to that idea. So, I don't know. I mean, if I was the Chargers, I would offer him something. If I was the Panthers, I would offer him a lot of money. I mean, Pete Carroll, he's done a pretty good job with his time in Seattle. Yes, I know everybody would want to bring up the infamous Super Bowl 49, Malcolm Butler not running the ball. I get that, but he brought the first ever chip to Seattle the year prior, and after Super Bowl 49, they were a playoff team every year pretty much, except for this year. Even last year was really impressive. I mean, what he did with Geno Smith. I mean, he made him he was in contention for comeback player of the year. He had a great year that year, and obviously it was a one-year wonder, but good coaching brings out the best in players, and I don't know, again, it's just underappreciated when good head coaches are running a team. I mean, come on, like, look at Geno this year. Like, he was trash this year. And the previous year, Pete Carroll brought out the best in him, and it just... Not a lot of guys can do that. Not a lot of guys can bring out a player's true potential and hit that ceiling. So yeah, I don't know why ownership decided now would be the move. It's kind of confusing. I wonder if they would still go through with this if they made the playoffs again. And by the way, like, obviously they were like a game away from making the playoffs, so it's not like he had a terrible year. They finished 9-8. Pretty good squad, by the way. I mean, even if you just want to take a look how Pete Carroll has built the current roster of the Seahawks, I mean, he's had some amazing drafts for a lot of consecutive years. He knows how to draft. He knows how to scout. I mean, let's even go back to the Legion of Boom. He assembled those guys. He picked them out. He drafted them. Like, that's arguably the greatest defense in the past 20, 30 years. I mean, wow. To go back and watch them, it's crazy. Like, the game was so different back then. I mean, I don't know if anyone remembers how hard he used to hit fools. Like, they called him Bam Bam for a reason. Man, I miss watching him. I miss Earl Thomas. Obviously Sherman, man. Man, he had... It was almost a dynasty. Like, if they would have ran the ball, it would have been a dynasty. And I don't know. I don't know what ownership is thinking. I don't know. I don't like this move. I think it's brutal. I don't know how anybody could support this move in any type of way. I mean, really, all the Seahawks need is one quarterback. I was thinking about this a while ago. Like, it would be crazy Anthony if Anthony Richardson fell to the Hawks with the 5th overall pick in the previous drafts. Like, think about how insane that team would have been. But that's my point. They're just one quarterback away from being a real juggernaut in the NFC. Because that defense is legit. They have a lot of offensive weapons. And it's tough to play in Seattle. That home field advantage is a real thing. But moving forward for the Seahawks, apparently a top candidate has emerged to replace Pete Carroll. And that man is Dan Quinn. He was a defensive coordinator for the Seahawks a while ago. I think, around 10 years ago during the Legion of Boom. So obviously he's got a history there. As a head coach, his time with the Atlanta Falcons was mixed. I mean, good for him for taking his team to the Super Bowl that year, even though Kyle Shanahan definitely took a lot of credit for that, as he should. Dan Quinn has put together a pretty good squad defensively for the Cowboys last couple of years. So, I mean, it's not a terrible replacement. I don't hate it. I definitely don't love it, though. I think it's serviceable. I think it's worth a shot, but I don't know. I've talked about this previously, but if you're not hiring an offensive-minded head coach in today's NFL, I just think you're doing it wrong. Like, the league, the game, the rules, it's so catered towards the offense. And if you're not getting your head man with an offensive mind, I just think that's such an outdated way of running a professional team. It's just bad business, straight up. I think I'd like to see, it'd be funny if they got Jim Harbaugh. I don't know if anybody remembers, but Pete Carroll and Jim Harbaugh had some beef back in the day. Which, by the way, that 49ers Seahawks rivalry, back like when the Legion of Boom was a thing, Colin Kaepernick, Vernon Davis, Frank Gore. Sheesh, take me back. Those games were legendary. God. Anyways, it'd be funny if Jim Harbaugh came and took over. I know that would never happen, but they had a beef back in the day. I don't know. That'd be funny. I think Ben Johnson would be kind of interesting. Obviously, he's the hot name right now. The next guy up. Because if you get that offense right, sheesh, they could be a good team for a while. Because that defense, Witherspoon, he's going to be around for a long time. He's going to be a top 3 corner in the league very, very soon. But, overall, I just don't get this move. Doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know what ownership is thinking. I really don't. I mean, I know, like I said, I know Pete's old, but he's got a lot of juice left. Sheesh. If I was a team right now and I had a head coach vacancy, I would offer Pete a lot of money. I mean, look what Sean Payton got from the Broncos. Like, I don't know, who's had a better overall head coaching career, Pete Carroll or Sean Payton? I'd probably go Pete Carroll on that one. I think he's got a better resume right now. And look how much Sean's making. I'd offer $1.5 bags to Pete. $1.5 bags. I hope he gets his bag. I hope he gets his money. I hope he finds a new team. Because being an advisor, like, come on, man. Like, I know he's going to be in the team meetings. I know he's going to be around the team. I know he's going to be in the box on game days and shit. But, like, come on. Like, he's better than that. That's just, like, it's disrespectful. It's disgraceful. I mean, come on, man. Pete is, like, it's legendary. He's a legend. I mean, let's go back and talk about his time with the Trojans, man. Like, this is one of the best coaches to ever do it in all of ball. Like, come on, what are we saying? I don't know. Either way, Hawks fans, let me know how you feel about this. I mean, this is a brutal decision from my opinion, but what do you want them to do in the offseason besides find a good head coach? Obviously, they got to find that QB. Maybe add some pieces to that D, shore up the O line, and I don't know. I think they'll be back competing in January and February soon if they find the right man to right the ship. Anyways, that's all I got. Peace.